Long ago, in a faraway land filled with tall palm trees, wide rivers, and red clay roads, there lived a young prince named Dinta. He was the only son of a great king. The king was strong, the queen was wise, and their people loved them. Everyone believed that one day Dinta would make a great king. Dinta was tall, with skin the color of rich earth after rain, and eyes that shone like stars at night. He was gentle and respectful, but he also had the courage of a lion. The people admired him, and the young women, oh, they adored him. Whenever he walked through the markets, guests would giggle and whisper behind their baskets of yams and peppers. Whenever he joined the wrestling games, maidens sang songs about his strength. But Dinta had a heavy burden in his heart. You see, every woman in his village wanted to marry him, not because they loved him, but because he was a prince. Many of them wore sweet smiles only when he passed by. They would suddenly act gentle and kind if his eyes fell on them, but the moment he turned away, their faces changed. Dinta was no fool. He saw through their games. He knew they pretended to be good only because they dreamed of wearing the crown one day. And so he asked himself, how can I ever know who truly loves me? How will I ever find a wife who will love me even if I were poor, hungry, and without a crown? One night, as the moon lit the palace courtyard in silver light, Dinta sat alone thinking. The voices of the night, crickets chirping, owls hooting, frogs croaking kept him company. Finally, he whispered to himself, I will not marry anyone in this village. If I stay here, I will never know the truth. I must go where no one knows my face. I must hide my crown and dress as a poor man. Only then will I see who truly has a good heart. The next morning, Dinta went to see his father and mother. He bowed before them and said, Father, Mother, I love you both, and I love our people, but I cannot yet take a wife. Please give me your blessings to travel to another village. Let me go as a stranger, so I may find the truth with my own eyes. The king frowned. My son, the world outside is full of danger. There are wild animals in the forests, and there are men with evil hearts who trick and harm travelers. Why would you go in secret when we can call maidens from many lands to come and meet you here? But Dinta shook his head. No, father. If they know I am a prince, they will only act the same. I want to see a woman's heart as it truly is. If she is kind when she believes I'm poor, then she will be kind forever. The queen touched her son's shoulder and smiled softly. Our son is wise beyond his years. Let him go. The ancestors will walk with him. Let him dress as a beggar, if that is what his spirit desires. If his destiny is strong, it will find him wherever he is. The king sighed, then nodded slowly. So be it, but promise us you will return. You are the heart of this kingdom. Dinta promised. And so the very next day, the prince removed his royal clothes of fine cloth and beads. He put on old torn rags. He rubbed ashes on his skin to make himself look dusty and poor. He tied a small bag with only a calabash for water and a staff to help him walk. When he looked at himself in the mirror of polished bronze, even he could hardly believe he was a prince. He looked like a wandering beggar who owned nothing but hope. At dawn, while most of the villagers still slept, Dinta set out on the red path that led into the forest. The birds flew above him, monkeys swung from trees, and the air was thick with the smell of rain-soaked leaves. Each step took him farther from the palace. farther from the life of a prince and closer to the truth he was seeking. And so, the journey of Prince Dinta began, not as a royal son with servants at his side, but as a poor stranger with nothing but faith in his heart. Dinta walked for many hours. The red road was long, and the tall trees stood like giants. Birds sang in the branches, and monkeys jumped from tree to tree. The sun shone very hot, and soon Dinta's clothes were wet with sweat. His stomach made a loud growl. He was very hungry. Back in the palace, he always had yam, fish, and sweet fruits to eat. But now, dressed like a poor beggar, he had nothing. He sat under a tree and whispered, I must keep going. If I turn back, I will never find the truth. After some time, Dinta saw smoke rising in the sky. A village, finally. He walked faster. Soon, he heard children laughing, goats bleating, and the smell of food cooking. His stomach growled again. When he entered the village, people stared. Who is that dusty man? Some asked. He looks poor, some said. But no one gave him food or water. At last, Dinta reached a very big compound. Many people were walking there. Women pounded yam, men carried firewood, and the children fetched water. In the middle of them all was a very young maid. She was washing green leaves in a bowl. Her name was Nneka. She was not rich. She was only a servant, but she had bright eyes and a gentle smile. She worked hard, but she did not complain. Dinta stood at the gate. His body was weak. In a soft voice, he said, Good evening, sister. Nneka looked up. She saw a tired stranger leaning on a stick. His clothes were torn, and he looked hungry. She walked closer. Good evening, traveler, she said kindly. Where have you come from? I have walked far, Dinta answered. I have no food. My body is weak. Please, give me even a little water. Some workers nearby laughed at him. Go away, beggar, one woman shouted. We have no food for you, another man added. But Nneka shook her head. Even the sun shines on both the rich and the poor. Water is for every throat. She went to the kitchen. She brought a small bowl of yam pottage and a calabash of cool water. She gave them to Dinta. Eat, stranger, she said. No one should be hungry when food is near. Dinta's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, sister. May your kindness return to you many times. He ate slowly. The food was simple, but to him, it tasted sweeter than any palace feast. When he finished, Nneka asked, Do you have a place to sleep tonight? No, Dinta said. I only have the ground under the sky. Nneka thought for a moment. Then she said, This compound is full of proud people. They will not welcome you. But behind the kitchen, there is a small shed where firewood is kept. You can sleep there. It will keep you warm. Dinta bowed his head. You are truly kind. I will not forget this. That night, Dinta lay on the firewood, looking at the stars through the roof. His heart was full. She does not know I am a prince, he whispered. She only saw a hungry man and she fed me. If true kindness exists, I have found it. He smiled to himself and soon he fell into a deep sleep. Dinta stayed in the village for a few more days, still dressed as a beggar. He wanted to watch carefully to see the hearts of the women. Every morning, he sat near the well where the village women fetched water. He asked politely for help, but most of them ignored him. Some even mocked him, saying, "Go and work for your own food. Do not disturb us." Their laughter followed him as he walked away. But Nneka was different. Each time she saw him, she greeted him with respect. "Good morning, traveler," she would say. If she had some leftover food, she gave it to him. If he was thirsty, she poured water for him before even drinking herself. One afternoon, Dinta decided to test her heart more deeply. He asked, "Nneka, why do you help me? I am only a poor stranger. You gain nothing from me." Nneka smiled gently. "Because it is right," she answered. "Life is not about what we gain, it's about what we give. If I can make someone smile, then my day is already better." Her words struck Dinta like an arrow. This woman has the heart of a queen, he thought. Yet she does not even know it. Later that day, one of the rich maidens from the village saw Nneka giving food to Dinta. She laughed loudly and said, "You waste your time on a beggar. No man of worth will ever choose you, Nneka. You are just a servant." Nneka did not fight back. She only said softly, "Maybe so, but a servant can still show kindness." Dinta, hiding his true identity, felt anger rise in his chest. These women only look at wealth and clothes, he thought. But Nneka sees with her heart. That night, under the moonlight, Dinta sat alone and whispered to himself, "I have found her. She is the one I came searching for." Days passed, and Dinta knew he could not hide forever. He had seen enough. He had tested the hearts of many women. Some failed, and some ignored him. But only one, Nneka, had passed the test of kindness. One evening, after the day's work was done, Dinta asked Nneka to sit with him near the big mango tree outside the village. The crickets sang their night songs, and the moon glowed bright like a silver drum in the sky. "Nneka," he began, "you have shown me more kindness than anyone else in this village. But there is something about me you do not know." Nneka looked at him with curious eyes. "What is a traveler? Are you not whom you seem to be?" Dinta took a deep breath. Then slowly, he untied the ragged clothes from his head and let it fall. His face looked cleaner, his voice stronger. From inside his old bag, he pulled out a small golden pendant, shaped like a lion, the royal symbol of his kingdom. "I am not just a poor traveler," he said softly. "I am Dinta, the prince of my people. I came here in disguise because the women in my own village pretended to be kind, only because they knew I was a prince. But you, Nneka, you were kind to me when you thought I had nothing to give." Nneka's eyes widened. She covered her mouth in shock. "You? A prince?" she whispered. Her hands trembled. "But why would a prince want to sit with me, a maid?" "Because," Dinta said firmly, looking into her eyes, "a queen is not chosen by the clothes she wears or the house she lives in. A queen is chosen by her heart. And your heart, Nneka, is full of kindness, truth, and humility. That is the heart I want beside me forever." For a long moment, Nneka sat silent. Then tears filled her eyes, not of sorrow, but of joy. "I do not know if I deserve such honor," she said, "but I know that I will always stand by you, whether in a hut or in a palace." Dinta smiled, and the moon seemed to smile with him. He knew his journey was complete. He had found the woman he had been searching for. The next morning, Dinta rose early. The cock crowed 3 times, and the village woke slowly. Women stoking fires, men picking up holes, children rubbing sleep from their eyes. But for Dinta, this morning was not ordinary. It was the day he would take Nneka with him, the day she would live her quiet life as a maid and step into the unknown. Nneka, he said gently as she swept the ground in front of her hut. It is time. We must go back to my father's kingdom. Nneka stopped sweeping. Her hands trembled. Your kingdom? She whispered. But what will your people say when they see me? I am not dressed like a queen. I have no fine clothes, no jewels, no dowry to give. Dinta took her hand firmly. Do not be afraid. A crown is not made of gold alone. A crown is made of courage, kindness, and wisdom. Those you already have. My people will see your heart, just as I have seen it. Still, Nneka's heart was heavy. She looked around the village. The small huts with smoke rising from their roofs. The children running barefoot. The market square where she had laughed and cried. This was her home and she would miss it. But she knew her life was about to change. That afternoon, Dinta borrowed a small donkey cart from one of the kind elders. Into it, they packed food for the road: roasted yam, dried fish, palm oil in a gourd, and calabashes of water. Nneka wore her best wrapper, though it was plain and patched. Her hair was neatly tied with a simple scarf. She had nothing else to carry, for a maid owns little. As they set out on the red earth road, people gathered to watch. Whispers filled the air. Where is that beggar going with Nneka? Look at her, following him like a wife already. She is foolish. How can a maid follow a stranger? But Dinta paid no mind. He walked proudly and Nneka followed. Her steps steady even though her heart beat fast. The journey was long. They passed through thick forests where parrots quacked and monkeys swung from trees. They crossed streams where the water was cool and clear, stopping to drink and wash their faces. At night, they slept under the stars, listening to the sounds of the bush, the hoot of owls, the far cry of hyenas, and the rustle of leaves as unseen creatures moved in the dark. On the third day, as they walked out of the forest, the walls of Dinta's father's kingdom appeared in the distance. They were tall and strong, built of mud and stone, stretching wide across the land. Watchtowers rose above them, and smoke curled into the sky from the cooking fires within. Nneka's knees grew weak. She stopped walking. Dinta, she whispered, clutching his arm. I am afraid. Look at those gates. They are too grand for me. I am only a maid. Your people will laugh when they see me. Dinta placed a hand on her shoulder. Nneka, remember the proverb. A calabash may look plain, but it carries sweet water. You are that calabash. Walk beside me with pride. When they reached the great gates, the guards straightened and saluted. Prince Dinta, they cried, their voices full of surprise and joy. You have returned at last. The news spread quickly like Hamatan fire. Drums began to beat and people rushed out of their halls shouting, the prince is back. The prince has returned. Women shouted, children danced, and men lifted their spears high. But when they saw Nneka standing quietly beside him, their joy turned to whispers. Who is she? She does not look like a princess. She wears no jewels, no silk. She looks like a servant. The chief elder stepped forward, his beard long and white, his walking stick carved with symbols of wisdom. My prince, he said, bowing, welcome home. But tell us, Who is this woman you bring? Surely she is not the woman you have chosen. Dinta raised his voice so all could hear. Yes, this is Nneka, the woman who showed me kindness when I had nothing. She is the one I will marry. She will be your queen. Gasps filled the air. Some people frowned, some shook their heads, and some even laughed bitterly. A maid? Our queen? This cannot be. She is not worthy of the palace. Nneka lowered her head, her cheeks burning. She wished she could disappear into the earth. But Dinta stood tall, his eyes fierce. The worth of a queen is not in her clothes or her wealth, he declared, but in her heart. And this woman's heart is greater than gold. The crowd murmured. Some still doubted, but others listened closely. For Dinta's words carried weight like the beat of a drum in a silent night. At that moment, the king himself, Dinta's father, appeared. He was tall and strong, though his hair was grey, and he wore the great lion skin cloak of their ancestors. His voice thundered across the courtyard. Bring them to my palace. I will see this woman with my own eyes. And so, hand in hand, Dinta and Nneka walked through the great gates into the heart of the kingdom, where the final test awaited them. The palace was very big and beautiful. Its walls were painted bright red, and its gates had carvings of lions and leopards. But as Nneka walked beside Dinta, she felt small and shy. The palace women looked at her plain wrapper and whispered, laughing at her. But Nneka remembered her mother's words. A river does not boast, yet it gives water to all who are thirsty. When they stood before the king, Dinta spoke bravely. Father, this is Nneka, the woman I want to marry. She showed me kindness when I had nothing. The elders murmured among themselves. The king raised his staff and said, if she is to be queen, she must prove herself, not with riches, but with wisdom and humility. So 3 tasks were given to Nneka. For the first task, she was asked to cook food for the whole palace. She cooked with love and patience. When everyone ate, even the elders nodded and said, this food is wonderful. For the second task, Nneka was taken to the busy market. Traders were fighting and shouting at each other. She listened carefully, then spoke softly. Soon, peace returned to the market. She smiled and said, a market is like a drum. It sounds sweetest when there is balance. And for the last task, at night, Nneka went to the shrine of the ancestors. She poured palm wine on the ground and prayed. I have no riches, but I have a heart that wishes to do good. The priest lifted his staff and declared, the ancestors have accepted her prayer. The next day, the king stood before the people and said, this woman has fed us, brought peace, and honored the ancestors. What more does a queen need? The crowd was silent for a moment. Then everyone cheered in agreement. The king lifted his staff high and declared, from this day, Nneka shall be queen, for the greatest crown is kindness. The drums beat, flutes played, and the people danced joyfully. Dinta proudly held Nneka's hand, and together they walked into their new life as king and queen.